Alright folks, welcome back to the Pear Pod. Thank you for the support on the last episode. Today I'm joined by one of Dublin's fastest growing musicians, Mr. Aaron Rowe. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on, I really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me, man. Fair play.
So typically when I interview someone, I like to go back to their origin story and kind of, especially with the musician, I want to kind of understand your influences. So like, first of all, what kind of music was going on around in your household? Like what were your parents playing, like music like that? What do you remember listening to?
Growing up, it was just me ma, me, and I have 3 sisters. And when I was younger, like my family aren't really musical at all. And like my probably earliest memory of like loving music would have been listening to Norah Jones and like David Gray on the way to school in the mornings. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I kind of developed a love for music. But as I said, like I wasn't really playing music. I did do a bit of singing in primary school, which I didn't tell me mates who I wasn't going to school with at the time. Like, do you know what I mean? But
it's football, boys.
Yeah, boxing or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I wasn't really exposed to much music until I was a teenager.
No musicals in school or anything like that?
In secondary school?
You know, like when sometimes schools do like a musical and like people, like some of the students
I was a background character, in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, the cool blokes just going for the party after.
No, I swear to God, like you
had a real passion. You're like,
come on, guys. I was probably buzzing for it, like, do you know what I mean? But no, they just I think they just let me in because I could sing. Do you know what I mean? Like in the background, like, you know. But as far as acting, I don't think I'd be very good at that.
So when what point did you start being like, or one, start playing guitar and singing? I guess that's first off. And then like, when did you first perform in front of someone?
So yeah, as I said, like started playing music pretty much just to be able to like hang out with and I suppose play music with the lads who were already doing it at the time in school. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't start like gigging or whatever until probably a year or a year and a half into playing, like, do you know what I mean? Probably about 17 or something like that I was, you know.
And what was the first performance you did? Do you remember what it was?
First performance in front of anyone was sitting outside on the wall outside my gaff for the lads, because they used to see me walking around with a guitar on my back, like, and you know, I wasn't telling any of the lads that I was playing music at the time, like, do you know what I mean?
It's what bashing cunts, man.
Do you know what I mean? Look, it's
a weapon.
I was a bit embarrassed about it, like, do you know what I mean? And the lads were like, are you ever gonna play a song on that for us, are you, or what? Like, so I was like, fuck yeah, it's now or never.
What'd you do?
Wonderwall.
Yeah.
You know yourself.
They do live forever. Just fucking bang it out. That's class, man.
Yeah, the usual. Yeah.
And so you growing up, what kind of, so when you started playing like Oasis, those kind of influences, what other, who else did you like to play, I guess, originally?
Like my biggest kind of love for any sort of genre was in soul music, like classic soul, like Sam Cooke and Otis Redding and like James Brown, all that sort of like American soul, like, so that's what I was mad into. But I was also growing up in Dublin, all my mates are all mad into, you know, the Oasis thing and the Stone Roses thing and like different like you know, house music and all. We were going to raves and all when we were like 16 and 17, like, do you know what I mean? So I was into a bit of everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck man, that's gas that you I'm trying to think, did you you can kind of hear that even in just in Drawing the Line. I can hear that, like, that soul when it kicks in like first 30 seconds, you can hear that. So it's mad to say that, like, that's you clearly channel that into your music, like. Yeah, we'll chat more about that tune later on, but so when you first started writing music or wanted to write music, like what was the first motivation to write one? Do you remember the first song you wrote?
First song I ever wrote. Jeez, you have me there, man. Jeez.
Take your time. I love this shit. Someone's thinking about their answer.
The first couple of songs that I wrote, a lot of them I can't even remember the lyrics to them or anything, or I don't even have any recordings of them or anything like that. I remember at the time I wrote a song. It was kind of just based on what I was seeing going on around me. I remember there was a girl who was about my age and she'd passed away from cancer at the time, and I had a relation of mine, and he was young enough as well, and he wasn't my age, but he was a bit older than me, but he was still young enough, and he died, you know, because of drugs. And a friend of my sister's around that time had also died in an accident. Do you know what I mean? And I remember writing a song about just those three people, and kind of trying to wrap my head around young people dying. Do you know what I mean? Because it was a bit of it's a new kind of, you know, when you start to experience, or when you start to witness these things going on, it is a big deal. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's very happy-go-lucky when you're younger, and like death hopefully isn't a factor until you're like you hope until you're in your 30s, 40s, that kind of stuff.
You don't even think about it
when it hits you early like that, or someone close to you. It just fucking rocks your world, and it probably grow, like, makes you grow up much quicker. You probably feel, you know, there's a I guess a maturity that comes with it, and it's definitely something deep to deal with. Did you do you find that you channel all, like, most emotions into your music, or do you like to write about, you know, darker topics, whether it's like breakups, relationship stuff, or things you see? Do you like to write about positive things?
Yeah, like I do, like, because I like to write songs. Honestly, I like writing songs that I think are gonna go down well at gigs. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I know for a fact, like, I could write 10 million sad songs, like, do you know what I mean? And they could do well and all, and people would like them, and people would be into them, and people would listen to them. But then when you get to the gig, like, it's gonna be just a snooze fest, like, do you know what I mean? So I like writing songs that are gonna be, you know, interesting at a gig, like, do you know what I mean? And so it's interesting that you, like, I've been to artists before where I love their music, and then I go to their live show, and I'm like, there's a different energy when you go to certain type of shows. So when you go to someone, for example, like a Jerry Cinnamon or something like that, one of those, 100%,
where like the energy's nuts the whole way through.
Crazy,
he's definitely conscious that, like, these are going to go nuts in live gigs, and he obviously, like, came to fame a little bit later in his career and had grown up doing lots of gig shows, so he was obviously conscious of that as well. And then you see his live shows kicking off with the music he does.
100%, yeah.
So where do you find the balance? Because obviously, like, there are people that, and like people who listen to music that, you know, want to, I don't know, feel different emotions, and like those slower tunes. You see people like, I guess, like Dermot Kennedy, people like that, who write like those slower kind of tunes. Do you like those as well, or is it more, I guess you got to find that balance between, you know, doing stuff for the live shows and then stuff that's going to, like, also connect with people, or else try and do both in the same, you know?
Yeah, like, I think there is a time and a place for those kind of songs. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I think, you know, for me, if I'm going to have people paying in to a gig, or, you know, going to a pub and, you know, paying to drink there, I want people to have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't want it just to be all about me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, I think there's a bit of that in it, like, you know.
Who are some of your favorite songwriters, or like people that you, like, admire the way they write their music?
It's always changing. Like, it's like I've never really been the type of person to go, oh, this is my favorite artist of all time. Like, yeah, sure. You know, like, it's always changing. Like,
who's, you know, impressing you lately?
At the moment, I listen to I'm listening to the Stone Roses a little bit at the minute, man. Listen to it with the Dire Straits as well. I like a lot of Irish music, so I'll have that going on a lot of the time. Like, do you know what I mean? It kind of just depends on the time of the day, you know, where my head's at, what I'm up to. You know, I could be listening to, like, hard house, like, proper rave music one day, and then
who's a guilty pleasure? One that you probably wouldn't tell your mates about, but, like, you're on your own, you're like, fuck, it's actually slaps. Ruin your music career right here.
I don't know, man. I listen to a lot of good music. Like,
fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, I'll take it. That's grand. When you, one of the things I actually, I've had one other musician on my podcast before, my friend John, who's in a band from Dublin as well. Yeah. And we got talking about the songwriting process, and it was, like, fascinating to me. because for me, I listen to music and I go, how did they like find it all to like beautifully like slot in, especially with some of John's music. And then he's like, oh no, man, I was just banging that in as I go. Like he didn't even think about it as much as I've given it thought to.
Yeah.
So when you're writing music, like, one, what does your process look like? Where do you like to do it? What kind of vibe do you want to be in, day or night? You know what I mean?
Most of the time it's an accident. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're just sitting around playing your guitar, singing away, could even be just playing a song, could even be just playing some cover in my room or learning something, like, and you know, you'll get ideas just from sitting around and playing the guitar just by accident. Like I suppose like what you listen to and the kind of stuff that you learn, that all has a major effect on the type of music that you end up, you know, writing and putting down. Yeah, you know.
And when you're writing something, are you like kind of guy who has like their notes out, like writing lyrics, and you find a rhythm on the guitar you like, and then you like that'll fit in nicely there? Or do you like the music first?
I'm not really. Yeah, like I'd be kind of like sitting there humming away, singing gibberish lyrics that they're not even words into the phone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Just sounds. And then I'll record that a couple of times, listen back to a few different takes and go, oh, that sounds half decent. And then I'll put words to that. But I might have an idea of what I want to write a song about anyway. So that'll influence the kind of style of the music that I'm playing. Sure. Anyway, do you know what I mean? So
you know, you do your own production, or you know how to produce your own music, like self-production wise?
I'm not really the best at that. I do have people that do that.
Enough to be able to put your ideas into motion. Do you know what I mean?
Basics, exactly, like, do you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not by no means a music producer. Yeah, I will be though. Yeah.
Love that. Right. So, what was different when you were writing Drawing the Line? What was the story of that?
Jesus. So I think Drawing the Line, I wrote it years ago.
Mad.
And it was kind of about, I think I must have been about 19 or 20 or something, man. And I was seeing this girl at the time, and I just like, things were going well, but I just knew that it wasn't going to be forever. Like, you know, maybe it was the age that I was at or something, like, you know what I mean? And my head kind of just wasn't in it. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of felt guilty about kind of hanging in there just for the sake of hanging in there. Yeah.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable. Do you know what I mean? So, I wrote that song kind of a few months probably after, cutting it off from all that. As kind of a way to kind of make sense of it to myself, I suppose, you know.
Are you writing that and you go like, and you go, fuck, that's not bad? Like, do you, after you're writing it, you go, fuck, that's like, are you thinking anything different, that like this is going to be like one of the first tunes, or are you like, that's just another one I have in the locker? Like,
no,
I'm trying to think what gems you have in your fucking bedroom floor.
It's just another song, man.
Fuck, like, what else do you have in your locker? Like, that's you just like,
to be honest,
just sitting there.
To be honest, Drawing the Line, right? I've had music ready for a long time, like, and I've loads of different songs ready, like, do you know what I mean? But I just, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Sure. That I kind of always held back on putting stuff out. Drawing the Line was mixed, mastered, and pretty much ready to go like a couple of months ago, like, do you know what I mean? So I turned 27 a couple of months. I'm near 28 next month, man. Do you know what I mean?
27's like, a big year for musicians.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I mean, I should be dead by now. Like.
We got a month.
Do you know what I mean? So it was basically like, it's now or never. And if I put a song out now, it's going to put the pressure on myself to get more stuff out there, like, do you know what I mean? So I was kind of just trying to challenge myself by putting something out and seeing how it went, and you know, I'm happy that I did it now, you know.
If I'm your mate, right? So you text me and you go, lads, I have a tune I want to kind of show you, come over to my gaff, and you sit down and bang that out. I'd be like, oh, you play it like the way it's mixed. Obviously, the full version is fucking outrageous. If you played that, I'd be like, what the fuck? That you just had were they like blown away, or were they like, fucked on? That's stupid.
I don't tell anyone about my
You're
music
too humble, man.
unless I'm at a gig, man. Like
You're too humble.
I don't. I've tons of songs there like that nobody knows about other than me mate Dennis, who I would have done demos with. Like, do you know what I mean?
Get Dennis on here.
We will get Dennis on,
in.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I've most of the songs that I have, there's probably like 4 or 5 of them that I play regularly at my gigs. Like, do you know what I mean?
Do you know what you'd come next with? Like, do you have a plan?
Yeah,
like,
I have 2 songs. I have 2 songs ready. I'm hoping to get in the next 2 months. I want to put one out every month. Like, do you know what I mean?
Just holstered, like ready to go.
Yeah, ready to rock. Yeah.
And what's your plan with like music videos? What kind of music videos do you like? Even other artists that they do. What, like, if you could have you done a Draw on the Line music video?
No. I don't really plan on doing a music video for Draw on the Line. I would rather
just to be there.
I would it's a bit too much. Like that's not really my personality, man. To be real deep and emotional and all. Like I write songs like that and all. And I enjoy writing songs, but that's sort of for me. Like I don't really want to be like kind of trying to give off this impression that
you and a bird rolling around in a bed.
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
in
the rain.
You know what I mean? Like I would like to make some music videos that are kind of. If I was gonna make one that I was in it, I would just want to be me in a band. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's what I feel comfortable. I could see you doing like really nice live performances. Yeah, with a band, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I would, if I was for the other songs, I'd like to get
actors in, maybe.
And for me not to be in it, like, do you know what I mean? Like
I did a music video for John's band, their first single, and we got an actor in, lunatic of a bloke. We needed to be for like the character that was like we were doing. And he fucking blew that shit away. Like, it was unbelievable. The lads aren't in it. The lads actually play little cameos in the music video. So like he meets them all on a journey through town in like different intimate ways. Yeah. And it was great, man. And they took all the pressure off the lads to, like, you know, be in it and perform. They just need to worry about how it looked, and they got to tell the story. So that's a fucking great option. But a few live performances, man, would be sick.
100%.
So you kind of mentioned there, like, it's not really your scene to be like too deep and emotional and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to like self-promotion now in like for musicians, all I see now is blokes with fucking choirs in like the tube station, like banging out. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Like, I just saw a new Bird who's doing that now as well. That doesn't seem like your buzz whatsoever, or is it?
It might have been my buzz if everyone else wasn't doing it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
if you got in first
as well, like, I get it, like, do you know what I mean? Like, because some of that stuff is great. Like, I think Hosier does it well, like, do you know what I mean? Like, because he's got the gospel.
He's such a cool bloke.
Well, he's got the gospel sort of blues background, which is where all those kind of choir, big gospel choirs come from. Like, do you know what I mean? So he understands that music, like, do you know what I mean? So I liked his thing that he done. I don't really know about anyone else that has done it, to be honest. Like,
in terms of like, do you have like social media strategy and shit like that? Like, you see, like, another Bird that I know just from like social media is like, do you know Ali Sherlock? Do you know that is? She does like mad like lives and stuff like that.
Savage voice.
And she like blew up through like doing like just lives of her like busking
on
and stuff
Temple
like
Bar
that.
In Grafton Street.
And even like way back, do you remember like fucking Harry and Alfie when you were younger?
I do, 100%.
Jumping up on the
poles. I remember what I said earlier on about my mate at the time had learned how to play a guitar. He was watching these lads standing on the poles. And he started standing on the poles, and he's 15. And there's people walking by, and they're going, "Oh, look at this kid," and they're giving him money left, right, and centre. Like, do you know what I mean? And we were all stoners in school, man. Do you know what I mean? So like, for him to make 30 quid just like by standing there for
that's
15 minutes,
3 grams, boys.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we were like, that's grand, man. Do you know what I mean?
Get the haze. No, man. That's like, you see, like, that stands out to me, and like, they've obviously gone on to have like a big career after that. But like, it's, do you think there's still space to grow, like, traditionally just with the fucking music and, like, you know, and doing like live gigs, like, as you said?
To be honest, bro, I don't really care about any of that stuff, man. Do you know what I mean? I like playing gigs. I like writing music. I want to release more music, you know. I don't really care about all the rest of it, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm happy playing music. I'd like a bit more money. Do you know what I mean? Like, but
that's fair.
So would everyone, like, you know.
Where, give me like a fucking dream venue you like to perform at, or like event you like to perform at.
Probably the Olympia or Vicar Street. Like I mean, probably more so the Olympia because I've been to the Olympia more times.
Vicar Street's outrageous.
Vicar Street is outrageous,
and it's
like
prestigious and stuff,
100%. Like, and everyone loves playing at Vicar Street, and the sound of Vicar Street's just deadly. I think I was just at a couple of Aslan gigs in the Olympia, and they were just out of this world, like, and it was just amazing, like, do you know what I mean? So maybe it's nostalgia or something, man. You know what I mean?
What other live artists have you seen that you've been like, you are a fucking wizard up there, like?
I saw Anderson .Paak.
Oh, outrageous! Was that a festival?
In Marley Park. Before the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh,
and I thought his gig was the best gig of the whole day. Like, the Chili Peppers are savage, and I think Thundercat was on before him.
You can hear them from my gaff, man. Marley Park's like 2 minutes from where my mum lives. So you hear all that.
Yeah, no, Anderson .Paak was unbelievable, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just something else. Like.
That's mad when you like, if you could play, I'm trying to think now, do you see, if you could have it any way you wanted, would you have a band with you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And like, you'd pick out a few blokes who would be
it's
your
just
lads.
more crack, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Sitting there and playing with your mates, like, you know, it's a bit lonely up there on your own.
Even the lads that do the lads in Don't Tell Mum, the band, they do, they were like, fuck man, it'd be awful crack on your own as like a single artist when you have, like, you go and rehearse, you go and meet the 4 lads and you're going to have a chat. And like, well, if you were on your own, just bet like Adele, just banging them out on your own, you're like, fuck, it's a bit lonely. Yeah, man, because even on Drawing the Line, you can hear like all those other instruments in and make it so fucking beautiful. Like, and I think we'll get you to perform it later on. Would you rather finish the interview and then bang it out, or do you want to?
Yeah, maybe that'd probably be the best way to do it. Yeah, we'll keep it going.
I agree. So yeah, what's your plans for the future? Like, next year or two, what's your plan? Just to keep gigging, and then you obviously have a release plan for a few tunes. So an album potentially?
Yeah, an album. Who knows? Like,
big job. Yeah,
you know, big job. But absolutely, like, within the next month, have another single out, and hopefully a month after that, have another single out. So by Christmas, if I can get 3 out, that'd be 3 minimum would be where I'd be kind of happy with. Like, but if I could get 4 out, that'd be great. And then in January, February, I won't be gigging that much, so I'd like to do like a half album or an EP where I release 4 or 5 songs together, and that way, you know, in 6 months' time, I'll go from having 1 song out, which is what I have now, to I'll have, you know, like 8 to 12 songs out in a couple of months' time, man, and that'd be great. Like, do you know what I mean? Do
you like a few jars before you play? Would you like to have a pint up there when you go?
No, I don't like sober. I just like to be sober. Yeah, man.
What's that buzz like performing live? As a feeling, like, you hear loads, like pretty much anyone who ever performs is like, there's a buzz about performing something live that you don't get it from, like, when you're performing for a crowd. What is it? How would you put that into words?
It's so it's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go in there and there's a bit of anxiety always. I suppose, with regards to, are these people going to be into it? Like, are they going to be buzzing and singing and, you know, going mad, which is what I'm always hoping for. But, you know, so the odd time you might get a gig that's sort of quiet and you leave going, do you know what, I actually hate music, I'm just giving this up now. I'm going to get a normal job. But then you have another gig and it'll be unbelievable and you're like, do you know what, it's actually all right, like, you know. So it's very up and down. Like,
fuck, man, I can like, is there a moment you can look back on where you were like, maybe the first kind of break that you had, or a moment you're like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do? You're like, yeah, this is my fucking buzz. Maybe it was the first time you performed live and you were like, fuck, this can be my, if I work hard, this can be my job and this would be unbelievable.
I decided as soon as I picked up that guitar, like, and like, when I see me mate busking on Grafton Street, I pretty much decided then and there, this is what I'm going to do. Like, it was like a switch just went off. Do you know what I mean? I just was like, right, that's it. This is what I'm doing now. You know, and I remember being in school and all, and having teachers coming up to me going, you know, because I wasn't going to school, or when I was in school, I was just falling asleep.
Flirting with my missus, probably.
No, nothing like that.
No, money mess.
But like, I genuinely wasn't there, man. I wasn't in school, man. fifth and sixth year. Like I'd made my mind up. This is what I was going to do, and I think I just stayed in school. There was talks of me dropping out of school and all, and I think I just stayed there to please me ma, and just to not to rattle the nest at the time. Like, you know, but I had no interest.
Feels like the biggest thing in the world at the time.
Yeah, it does.
If you feel like, oh man, this is like, it's going to be the biggest decision of my life, and then you look back now, man, like I could have very easily dropped out end of fourth year and been as ready for the world as I was in 6 years. Maybe not personally, but I would have got those in my years anyway. So like now looking back, it's just the pressure you put on yourself when you're in there to be like, I can't disappoint everyone. Do you know what I mean? And like,
but even like, you know, I remember at the time even some of the teachers and all being like, you know, in the morning when we'd have the assembly or whatever, and they'd be saying to us, you know, this is the most important thing in your whole life at the moment. There's nothing else that should be coming into your mind at the moment other than the leaving cert and all. I'm just 16. I'm just sitting there like with my phone hanging out of my pocket going, this lad, shut the fuck up, man. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm driving. Aaron. Yeah. I'm trying to think, why do you think Ireland makes such great musicians? What do you think it is about like this island that bangs out like so many good musicians? It's fucking insane.
I think the pubs have a lot to do with it, like the culture of being in pubs. I know for instance, like singing and playing music is such a huge part of Irish culture. Like, you know, it's kind of becoming less and less, but the further you go back, like if you look at, say for instance, your grandparents or your grandparents' parents, your great grandparents, they would have had like, everyone in the family would have had like a song that they all knew, and they all sang when it came to that time of the night, and like, right, who's giving us a song? Mary's next.
Give us Zombie
John's
Mary.
after Mary. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And even if people weren't good, they just did it. Like, do you know what I mean? And people just like, you know, it was a much bigger part of society in Ireland. I
think it continues to be. I think we blow up, like we love musicians, man, in Ireland and in Dublin. And like it's not like fucking half my mates like when we're going to a pub, live music in there 7 days a week, isn't it? Grant. All right, we'll pop in because it's such a lovely thing to come into and have lads in the corner. That's 30 minutes. I'm just going to reset the cameras.
Sound. Yep.
We're back, folks. Back to the second half. We were talking about your writing earlier. Have you ever encountered like writer's block or anything like that, where you're like, fuck, I don't have anything to write about right now?
Yeah, like it's most like writer's block is like 90% of the time. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't know what to be doing, and it's sort of like fishing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you cast your line out, but you don't really know what you're gonna get. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, or if you're gonna get anything. Like, do you know what I mean? So just to kind of it's kind of a waiting game. Like, you know.
What do you like in the studio when you're writing? Do you have like a few lads you bring in with you to kind of collaborate with, or do you like to be in there on your own with just like a producer? What do you like?
I don't really like the studio environment, like as in going in, right, do a take there, and then okay, do it again, and then do it again, and like, can you do it this time? I do it a little bit like this. Like, I hate that, man. I just like getting in with the band, you know, talking to each other as we're playing, you know, like just having a laugh, having an argument about it, like, you know, just a natural buzz in the rehearsal room or whatever, with the band. You know, that's kind of where I feel most comfortable.
If you could collaborate on writing and like making a song with one artist, who would it be?
Probably Chris Stapleton, man, or I'd like to do something with Norah Jones. Jeez, there's so many. I like, do you know Five Ants?
I actually don't know.
Oh man, he's the best, man.
Okay.
Oh,
you got me on.
Unbelievable, man. So Northern Ireland, you need to listen to that fella, man. Some of the best, like, one of the best songwriters in Ireland, I think.
My brother put me on to Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Oh.
The best ever, man.
Oh.
Best voice probably I've ever heard.
Sweet
like,
God.
I'd say. Probably the best voice I've ever heard.
My brother is like, he's been on and off with the guitar the whole time, and he's in like the learning phase now, but he's got a teacher now that just teaches him like the songs he wants to learn.
That's the way it's meant to be.
So now like he'll be like Pear, downstairs there for a sec, he'll start playing like half the world away or something like that. He'll be like playing like fucking shit, it'll be half off tune, but he loves it, man, and he finds it like relaxing just to like have some stuff to like pluck away at. Do you play any other instruments? So do you have any interest in learning anything else?
I have a keyboard at home that I mess around with, like, but I'd never call myself a piano player, like, do you know what I mean? Sorry. Like, I was thinking about starting learning the bass. I'd like to learn a tin whistle as well.
Fucking bang out a saxophone or something like
that. I think that's hard though, man.
My dad tried to do it. It's fucking
hard, man.
My dad's lungs are destroyed, but he.
I would love
you need to have big fucking.
I would love to whip out a tin whistle at a gig, man, and play with it.
You'd have to be fucking saucy with it for it to be good.
I think I'd be able to get the tin whistle going, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, the harmonica as well. Like, you know, definitely something Irish though. That's my next move.
And that's actually gas. Do you have it would be unbelievable to get to the point where you, like, you know, got to tour and get to like pick a band, tour. Like, is that the fucking dream for you then? Just be able to tour around with your music and like even like making enough to get by as a professional musician is like,
that's it. Yeah, just to be able to do what I'm doing, but for it to be about my music and not just, you know, playing covers in pubs, like, do you know what I mean? So I would love to be on the road with a band and just going and playing different gigs every night, like, you know, and making a living out of that.
What about when you see like people's reactions? Like, do you get people being like, "Hey, just listen to your tune," and like, it's fucking unbelievable? Like, do you get those messages, and does that like get you going? It's kind of
I kind of find it hard to take compliments a lot of the time. And, you know, you don't really know what to say, and you don't want to be, you know. So I found the best thing whenever anyone's trying to compliment you is just, if you feel awkward about it, just smile and say thanks very much. Shake their hand, and you know, and just get it out of your head. Don't dwell on it. Do you know what I mean?
Like it's a weird one. Music's the weirdest one, because like you probably write music for you, like you do it for you, and then someone's like, "Oh my god, you wrote the song," and it's like my heart. Like, and like
maybe that's a good thing as well. Like, because at the end of the day, like when you write a song and when you record a song, like, and you, as I said earlier on, you do a million different takes of the same thing, and then by the time it comes around to putting the song out, like, you're usually sick of it, like, do you know what I mean? So like, I'm not going around listening to Drawing the Line all day, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's probably the last, like, if that comes on in my playlist, I have it liked and all, just to like just get them numbers, do you know yourself, like, but if that comes on, I'm skipping my own song, man. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of like fucking.
So it does belong to someone else, I suppose. Like, you know, it's for whoever's listening to them. And so if they want to make whatever assumptions they want to make about the song, that's for them, because it's not my song anymore. It's for the audience. You know what I mean? What's
the name of the song you're going to perform for us later?
Then the song I'm going to play for you later on is called Brother. It's probably my favourite song I've ever written. It's I wrote it a couple of years ago again. It was about kind of at the time when I was starting to play music, like, a lot of my friends who I grew up with were all, you know, mad about going to raves and you know, getting into going to festivals and you know, just nightclubs and all that sort of stuff. And I'm getting into, you know, playing acoustic guitar in pubs, like, do you know what I mean? And I started to develop a different group of friends, like, you know, naturally. But my best mate at the time, you know, we started to drift, like, and we'd always been, like, you know, bros from day one, and for a couple of years, like, you know, we didn't really see a lot of each other, like, you know what I mean? There was never really a falling out, but we just, you know, kind of, it happens, just put time, it happens, life just pulls you apart, like, you know. So I wrote a song about that, you know, and it's one of my favourite songs I've ever written.
Does he know? Has he heard it?
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, no, me and him are still the best of mates. Like, and I'm godfather to his little one and all. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's all full circle now. You know.
What did he think when he heard it?
Yeah, he loves it. Like, but he's like the same. Like, he's the same as me. Like, he's like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, fair play to you. Like, you know what I mean?
Shut up, though.
But I'm the same. Like, I don't want. Shut up, man. I don't want you to sit here and go, oh man, I really love that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I just want to, like, and at the same time, like at the same time, I'm not going to be going to me mates and going, here, come into the kitchen there, I'll show you this song I wrote. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like guys, you'll hear it at the gig. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
everyone upstairs to my room.
Do you know what I mean?
I have another
like,
song.
Yeah, that's not me, man. You know
what? Like when you're doing gigs and pubs, like, are you taking requests from people? Like, can you bang out pretty much anything now at this stage?
Pretty much.
What do you get now? Yeah. You know, get a lot of Ed Sheeran and shit. Like,
I always get the same ones. People are like, I'll start the gig by playing kind of whatever I'm playing on the night. So, general pub music, could be playing whatever, like could be playing the Eagles, could be playing could be playing Coldplay, could be playing U2 or something. Do you know what I mean? And if I'm playing those sort of songs, people are gonna come up to me and ask for those sort of songs. If I start playing soul music, if I start playing like I don't know, if I start playing like a Sam Cooke song, someone's gonna come up to me later on and ask for like James Brown or something, man. Do you know what I mean? Like and if I'm playing Irish music, you know, people kind of get the vibe off you. Oh, you're like an Irish musician or you're a soul musician. But I try to give off a different vibe every time I'm like, you know, depending on where I'm gigging, like, you know.
Yeah. And then when you bang in, like, you obviously mix in your own tunes in there. Do you get people after me like, who wrote that? What tune is that?
I tend to only play those songs when I have the room kind of in the palm of my hand. You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes you are just background noise. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you know, I kind of like just to keep the crowd happy, keep the publicans happy. Do you know what I mean? Just, you know, keep the place buzzing. Like, I kind of earn me stripes gigging around Temple Bar, like, you know what I mean? And that's kind of rootless, like, do you know what I mean? Because like, if the whole pub isn't bouncing, like, then you're not really worth a shite, like, do you know what I mean? So you kind of have to be like playing what the people want, like, you know what I mean, and be able to take any request at any time, like, you know.
Do you get to the point where you're like, is your goal to go and do a gig just your music one day, and maybe have one cover or two in there?
100%. Yeah, and ideally probably not even have to do a cover, like, do you know what I mean? Because it might take away, because at the end of the day, like you could be playing like one of the best songs in the world, like, and if it's a good enough song, that's going to completely overshadow all my songs, like, do you know what I mean? So people will get out, there'll be loads of recordings floating around of me singing Tennessee Whiskey, or like, do you know what I mean?
Do you do that?
Something like that, yeah.
Do you do that a lot?
Yeah. But then again, like, if I do that, everyone gets their phone out and starts recording Tennessee Whiskey. And all the originals I've done for the last half an hour, everyone's like, hey, they were nice as well. Like, do you know what I mean?
What were they?
Yeah.
Do Tennessee Whiskey again.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that is an absolute
you know
stupid tune, man. Stupid tune.
Stop,
if you were, let's say you could go back to, or even for someone that's coming up now and wants to be a musician who's fucking 11 or 12 picking it up, what would your advice be to them, just from like learnings you have so far?
Listen to music all the time. Like, listen to music non-stop and really find what it is you're into. Don't just go and search good songs to learn on the guitar, or, you know, easy songs to learn on the guitar.
Fix you.
Do you know what I mean? You know, because you just end up just falling into playing all the songs that everybody else is into, like, do you know what I mean? And I just think become a fan of music, and naturally you'll become a better musician.
Do you actively work on your singing and your guitar? Like, do you have a vocal like coach, or do you have vocal exercises?
I have done that over the years. Like, I did do vocal coaching when I was younger, when I was probably 2 years after I started playing or something, like, do you know what I mean? My mum was like, would you be afraid of doing vocal lessons or something? I was like, yeah, I can't tell any of the lads I'm doing that though, like, do you know what I mean? Like, but it ended up being one of the best things that I ever did, man. I swear to God. And then I done it again. I had a bit of trouble with my voice a couple of years ago. I had to get like injections into me vocal cords, like, and so I had to do a bit of rehab with that. So done a bit of vocal coaching back then as well.
Do you must fucking get this like mad, but like the strain on your voice, and like you see it all, like when you get to see more of these like behind the scenes documentaries of bands, you see lads, whoever the singer is, coming off stage and they're like straight into like tea and like they're whispering and their vocals are fucked. Like, is that something that's just like can you train your voice to handle that, or is that something that just comes with the job? Like,
yeah, like you have to kind of know your limits. Like for me, like I used to do like 7, 8, sometimes 9, 10 gigs a week, like, do you know what I mean? And I'd always be going around with my voice worn out. So now it kind of, if I do like 5 gigs, that's kind of where I'm like, right, you're pushing it now. You can't really be doing more than 5 gigs in a week. Do you know what I mean? Like, because maybe it's the way I sing as well. Yeah. Probably not perfect technique. Probably push it a bit too hard, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, you do have to watch it, like, you know. Stay away from the drink as well. That's
kills you, does it?
Drink kills you more so than smoking. Like, you can, like, I know like vocal coaches and all who smoke, and I know great singers who smoke, but drinking destroys your voice. Like, you know yourself when you wake up in the morning and your voice is gone, and you're like, oh, you sound like this, or you sound like this, or something. That's what the drink does, like, you know what I mean? So stay away from the drink, big time.
And Jesus, I'm just trying to think now, if you had if you could, like, do you think I see like more and more artists now, they'll do 2 albums in a certain genre and then they'll jump into a different genre and try that out. Like, do you have an interest in being like, I'd love to do like whatever soul album, and then like I want to do a more like rock album? Do you like, or do you like, I like the zone I'm in, or can you see yourself kind of drifting in between these? Yeah,
so I mean, the kind of music that I'm going to be putting out for the next like 6 months is probably going to be all contemporary songs that I've written myself, but I do have a plan to do a bit of a trad album, like, do you know what I mean, with like proper Irish ballads and all that sort of stuff, because I do love that music as well, man. So I'd love to get in there with a trad band and sing some Luke Kelly songs and Paul Brady and all that sort of stuff, man. Do you know what I mean?
You'd bang out Raglan Road, like, I'd say.
I love singing Raglan Road and like any Luke Kelly song. I think he's probably the best singer ever in that's ever come out of Ireland. Probably. I listen to that
the live version of Raglan Road all the time. I have it on my thing. Jesus, I wonder if what was I going to ask you there? Oh, I've completely forgotten. That's a shame. If you had, did you ever see, there was a documentary that came out about Lewis Capaldi on Netflix? Did you watch it?
No, I didn't see it, man. But I heard a lot of people talking about it, saying it really showed a different side to him.
He basically like developed crippling like anxiety and almost like Tourette's.
I saw that, I saw that. I felt bad for the man. Swear to God, that's rough, man. It's
interesting now, just because let's just say you release like your next 3 tunes and they blow the fuck up, and suddenly you're becoming like fucking next superstar. People like fucking Dermot Kennedy shit, and like you're like, he obviously found it just horrible coming from like Glasgow, like real local lad, and suddenly blown up into like, do you think you'd enjoy the spotlight like that if you got it?
Probably not, no. Yeah, probably not, no.
At least because I'm not crazy.
Like I'm kind of private person myself, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, you know, if there was clips of me going around, like, you know, and things that would embarrass me, like, you know, it kind of probably would be kind of hard to take. I don't know, man, you know.
It's mad that like you don't think any of these lads, when they write their tunes and they put them out, they don't think it's going to be the thing that like blows you up, and then you're almost, he spoke about it, and like Niall Horan's spoken about it as well. He's like, you just get on this machine and it just like
it just takes you for a ride.
You're like, okay, first album, promote the first album, do your tour, then you're back from tour, I need a second album. And he even spoke about, he was like, second album like 100 times harder than the first album, because the first one was like all the best shit I've ever done, all the way up. Second album, write this in a year, and I had nothing. So obviously you kind of don't have the issue for the first album. You must have fucking tons of stuff tucked away. But yeah, it's just interesting to see, like, he actually said in it, he was like, if I could take this down 50%, like take 50% of like the money and success I've had to have a normal life and live it, he'd do it.
100%.
So it just kind of opened my eyes to be like, it's, even when you get to the top, and like he obviously does it by himself, it's a fucking crazy industry, like, to be huge in. So what are we at? 16 minutes. Okay. I have 2 final questions and then we'll be done. One of the questions I like to ask on my guests is like, what's one strength and one weakness that you have, that you notice? One strength that makes you the artist you are, and also one weakness that you have.
I suppose I'm very, I'm used to gigging like a lot. Like I know, mate, like I've been gigging. I've done thousands of gigs over the years, man. Do you know what I mean? Like thousands, like, do you know what I mean? So I'm, you know, maybe for a lot of artists who be getting into music, who are just getting into releasing music, you know, their first ever gigs will be, you know, them, you know, straight off the bat, straight out of the studio and on stage.
Some of them have never done a live performance.
Never done a live performance.
They make a huge
you know what I
tune
mean?
on SoundCloud or something. And
do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and then that happens. Like, so I suppose I'd be fairly at home on stage.
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest weakness that I have is I tend to lose my voice quite a lot. Like, you know, I do lose it quite a bit. Like, yeah, I just have one of those voices, man. Do you know what I mean? It's always just worn out, you know.
All right, man. We've just peaked an hour there. We're gonna do a little bit of performance now. You're gonna do your tune, brother, for us. Number one, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, nice one, man. Fair play.
I really fucking enjoyed that, and I don't want to like get you to commit to anything. Do you have any idea like when you'd like the next tune to be out, just for people to be able to keep an eye out?
I'm looking at like late October, early November.
Nice.
So yeah, as I said, the songs are pretty much ready to go. Just need to send them off to the distributors and get a date for when it's going to be out, you know.
Fucking love it. All right, lads. Aaron Rowe on the Pear Pod. We're going to do performance now, so everyone
savage.
Enjoy the performance of Brother. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Do you remember all the Sunday afternoons, time wasting walking around? There's no memory of how we ended up here, smoke tasting, trying to come down. We bought food that we never could finish, stated that asked us to leave. Then I skin up a fat one and you choke, you said it helped you sleep. I was the heart and you were the soul, and we made each other promise we'd never grow. We were partners in crime, I was yours, you were mine. It tore my heart in half and we were beaten by time. My brother told me we would never grow old, we'd stay here forever, never do what we're told. And whatever you do and wherever you go, I'll be waiting here for you when you decide to come home. All the so we thought everybody else we knew had it wrong. When they thought they figured us out, we just laugh and play along. We were joined at the hip, we were bound by love. And I died with you, my brother, life had happened enough. Our paths go different ways, our lives will be intertwined. Whatever you forget, I'll be the first to remind you. My brother told me we would never grow old, we could stay here forever, never do what we're told. And whatever you do and wherever you go, I'll be waiting here for you when you decide to go home. We're too old to be children, but we haven't grown up. Live for us and each other, make nothing seem enough. We can hide away here in the smoke and the beer. Don't have much to be proud of, but we've nothing to fear. We're too old to be children, we haven't grown up. We live for us and each other, nothing seem enough. We can hide away here in the smoke and the beer. We don't have much to be proud of, but we've nothing to fear. My brother told me we would never grow old, we could stay here forever, never do what we're told. And whatever you do, wherever you go, I'll be waiting here for you when you decide to come home. Oh, stop sound, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. Nice one. Fair play, yeah. Fair play.
Man, that's a fucking